So this is our latest stop.
Which stop is this? How many?
Just can't believe how much it costs to clean your clothes on the road. Like a small bag is like $67. Like what? It's washing powder.
She's staying in some nice hotels. This is her 4th game of 6, right? Yes. 4th game of 6. Yeah.
Just what's been your thoughts on your stop so far? And is it just player development you keep an eye on, or is there?
Just, I'd say a combination of things. I think what's important for us at US Soccer is to build relationships with all of our partners. I've been beyond attending games. I've been to the NWSL board dinner at Nike. I've met with Nike. I've met with different owners in different markets and general management team. I'd say that the synergy and the importance of joining up what we're doing matters for both club and country. So it just gives us a chance to do a combination of those things, as well as see players play in their home or their away environments.
What's been your favorite thing about being able to see them play on their NWSL teams in person, as you were with them not that long ago playing for the national team?
Yeah, I think it marries up to what I see when I'm watching the tape. But of course, when you're seeing them live and you see the little behaviours that sometimes you can't always see from distance, whether it's emotional behaviour or just communication, things like that. So yeah, it's been great to see everyone and say hi to them after the games, and feel like I get to see them, what they're like in the places that matter to them. So yeah, really, really worthwhile. I always say this, it's really, really hard to travel around and watch lots of games, because as you can imagine, I've been up at 6 this morning watching the Lyon game to watch. I pride myself by Tuesday of every week watching every game. When you're travelling, it's harder. So that's why I've broken it up into almost like West Coast now. I'll do more of the East Coast in the fall, so that I can get around as many of our clubs as possible.
You know Giselle Thompson very well, but there is another Angel City young players, like you can maybe pay attention to them tonight.
Yeah.
Are you looking for some future calls?
I think what's important is we're preparing to qualify for a World Cup, and that the WNT core player group is established. Beyond that, there is players that are considered part of that pool. Then there are WNT high potential players, like the ones you've mentioned, Kennedy Fuller, Evelyn Shaw's, to name a couple of them. But the reality is we have to prioritise. 27 is our focus, so it's identifying our core players and how they're progressing, and then the other two. And I have a team of people around the team that are also doing the same thing. So it gives me a chance to close at hand see some of the players that I've wanted to see, but it's more of the newer players than it is the players that are already well established with the national team.
And Emma, obviously you're here to see some of the U.S. national team players, but there's also players from Brazil, Japan. What will you sort of be looking for as you watch them play tonight?
It's a global game, and you have to be prepared at the highest level. Beyond the team tactical aspects that you have to prepare for is the individual qualities. So if I'm coaching one of our players to go up against Brazil's winger, for example, I have to be really clear on that player's preferences to do this versus that. So the more I watch of our opponents, the better prepared that we will be as a staff to prepare the team.
Wondering if you have any thoughts about the NWSL's decision to keep the current schedule rather than flipping the way the MLS is thinking about.
I mean, as I mentioned at the beginning, whatever NWSL decides, US Soccer, as their partners, we're here to support. My personal opinion is I think it's a great decision for a number of reasons. I think everybody should look up to the NWSL and what this league is doing, both on and off the field. I'm not an advocate of copying and pasting from the men's game. Far from it. Whatever decision is taken, whether it's to stick or to change, make sure it's positioned through a female lens. And quite frankly, I think that if there's opportunity as a result of us sticking, then let's capitalise on that. But whatever the decision is, it's because it's best for the women's game.
I want to ask you about the atmosphere in the stadiums you've been in, and you know, harken back to your WPS days.
Yeah.
And give me your impressions of just the game day atmosphere and crowds and everything.
You know what? I'm so glad you asked that question. I was just talking to my assistant Denise outside, and I said, while there are competitive similarities, WSL and NWSL, the business around the game, the culture around the game, the atmosphere, the fans, the crowd, the stadia is a notch up in the NWSL, like a big notch, and it's something we should celebrate a lot. Portland, for example, I don't know any of the songs, but I was tapping my foot the whole time, just as I was at Denver, thinking, my goodness, you've just started and you've already got a culture. I've been to an Angel City game before, so I know that there's one here, and I think the team in a good position is going to add to that. And then I get to see San Diego. I think the only difference is for me that I notice is because the country's so big, there's no away fans. So it's kind of missing that a little bit, but you know, that day will come.
Hi, I'm Stella with Kids Good Media, and I just wanted to ask, what's the biggest change you've seen in women's soccer over the past few years that people don't talk about enough?
Oh. Biggest. I think probably the professionalisation around the game is the thing. In order for the product to get better, the support teams around have to get better on and off the field. And I don't think we talk about the size and the scope that you have to have in order to do that at the highest level. And I think, especially in NWSL, real credit to the owners because they've been investing in not just the business side, but the support performance services around the players. And it's been so noticeable. I think this season has been the biggest difference, whether it's more sporting directors, whether it be more performance coaches, whether it be more technical coaches, analysts, medical team. That support is coming into play. The next step for all of us is how much of this is positioned through a female lens, or how much are we just taking from the men's game or generic experiences into our game. That's our next level and our USP.
Coach, how big a factor is scouting for you looking down the road?
Yeah, massive. I've always, it's an integral part. That's why coming on the road is one important aspect of it. There is, of course, cutting up the clips every week for every player, whether it's to share with them or discuss internally. There are the performance metrics that sort of ascertain how well the player is doing per position. There is a wealth of, how do I put it, qualitative and quantitative data and support to really know how a player is progressing, and it's something I've always valued highly, throughout my club days.
And might that be more about road trips for you, just to go and see some of the higher tier teams?
Say that again?
Would there be for you to go personally to see some of the higher tier teams possibly in the pool?
What do you mean by that?
When you're getting ready to play in competition?
Oh, listen, I've said this before. I think sometimes there's a little bit of snobbery that's spoken about. I think Brazil and Japan and Australia and Canada are all top tier teams. I think sometimes there is this perception that there isn't, any other top teams outside of Europe. That's far from the case. We play some very, very good teams.
In a personal note, how challenging have been for you since you take over the national team to these days? Because right now we have more eyes in the women's sports. You have big personalities like Trinity Rodman, huge player like Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah.
How easy or hard has it been for you?
Come on, look at me. Seriously, I'm super happy. I'm living my best life. I am serving this country in the job I have prepared my whole life for. Win or lose, I'm not going to let anything derail that, and I promise you my job is to provide a place for players to develop, to fulfil the very best for whatever level that is, and to give it everything we've got. They're the only things I can control.
And you're talking about scouting the players around the league, but your staff, are you guys scouting the college players as well? Is there
Yeah,
a
of
Iowa
course.
college team?
Oh yeah, no, we have a whole system in place. It will be all the way down, whole system, USL. We have wealth of scouts across the country. We have a whole talent ID program. We are completely joined up, WNT, YNT, talent ID. It's very impressive what US Soccer have in place.
And you've been talking obviously about the NWSL. Can you speak a little bit to your relationship with maybe Jessica Berman and some of the owners in the league and how
Yeah,
that's progressed
great.
over the past year and change?
Maturing, I think. You know, we got getting to know each other, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time. And we're one big team. I think it's important to make that point, because the better the teams are, the better the national team is, and vice versa. And we're here to serve each other and help each other. And we had a great week with the NWSL board and with Jessica Berman, and that relationship is strengthened in so many other ways. There's so many different work streams that are being managed by so many different people. The NWSL US Soccer relationships, I think, it's in the best place it's ever been.
Good. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the game.